Have you ever noticed how decluttering seems to get heavier as we get older? Almost as if the objects in our home start carrying stories, memories, and emotional dust that regular cleaning can't wipe away? It's strange, isn't it? We reach a stage in life when the goal is to feel lighter, calmer, and more comfortable. Yet somehow the process of clearing space becomes more draining than ever. The truth is, it's rarely this stuff that makes decluttering after 60 so difficult. It's the hidden habits, the unconscious tasks we do without realizing how much energy they quietly steal from us. And today, we're going to uncover 7 of those tasks so you can protect your time, your strength, and your peace. Because decluttering in your 60s, 70s, or beyond should never feel like a battle. It should feel like a gentle exhale. So let's walk through the 7 tasks that make decluttering harder and the small shifts that will make your home and your life feel lighter again. Task number 1. Stop touching everything multiple times. There's a small but exhausting habit almost every senior falls into without even realizing it. Picking up the same item again and again, postponing the decision every single time. It seems harmless. You take an old sweater off a shelf, hold it for a moment, feel unsure, put it back, and walk away. But a few days later, you pick it up again. You have the same hesitation, feel the same uncertainty, and put it right back. Each time you do this, your brain goes through the same emotional tug-of-war. And here's the part people rarely talk about. Decision fatigue affects older adults more intensely than younger ones. It drains your energy much faster. Every repeated decision feels heavier, more tiring, and more emotionally draining than the last. That's why the Not Today box is such a gentle lifesaver. This isn't a pressure box. It's a peace box. When you pick something up and feel unsure, you don't force yourself into a decision. You simply place it into the Not Today box and protect your energy. You give yourself space while still maintaining momentum. Because decluttering isn't about punishing yourself. It's about creating openings in your home and in your mind so you can breathe again. And believe me, once you stop touching everything multiple times, you'll feel a shift. Things move faster. Decisions feel cleaner. Your mind stops cycling in circles. You protect your strength instead of draining it drop by drop. But this is just the first habit slowing you down, and the next one might surprise you. Task number 2. Stop cleaning before you declutter. If you grew up in a generation where your home was a reflection of your character, you might have a deep instinct to clean before you begin anything. Many seniors open a closet and think, "Let me wipe the shelves first." Or they start reorganizing items they're planning to get rid of. They start dusting old boxes, polishing items they don't even want anymore, or sweeping areas that will be covered in clutter again minutes later. And before they know it, an entire afternoon disappears, not into decluttering, but into cleaning, scrubbing, wiping, and tidying things that won't even stay. The problem is simple. Cleaning first drains the energy you need most. Decluttering takes mental strength, emotional strength, and physical strength. If you spend all of that on wiping shelves, you have nothing left when it's time to make decisions. And if you've ever found yourself feeling exhausted before you even started, this is exactly why. So here's what truly works. Declutter first, clean after. And even then, only clean the areas that genuinely need it. You'll be shocked by how much more manageable the process becomes when you switch the order. No guilt, no pressure, no need for perfection, just clarity. And speaking of clarity, the next habit is the one that creates the most emotional weight. Task number 3. Stop starting with the hardest items. If there's one guaranteed way to overwhelm yourself during a declutter, it's starting with the things that carry the most emotional weight. Old photos, letters, your parents' belongings, keepsakes from people you've lost, or items from your children's early years. You may think beginning with these items shows strength or commitment, but truly, it's the opposite. Emotional items are like anchors. They pull you right into the deep end. The human brain uses more energy to make emotionally charged decisions. It's not just sentimental. It's neurological. When you start with emotional clutter, you burn out quickly. And burnout always leads to giving up. Instead, you need momentum. Momentum is what moves you forward even when motivation disappears. And easy items are how you build it. Start with expired products. Stained towels. Duplicate utensils. Clothes that don't fit. Things you don't even like. These choices are simple, and simplicity builds speed. And once you have that speed, you finally feel ready to handle the deeper, heavier things later on, without feeling overwhelmed. I want to share a story about this, because it perfectly shows why starting small matters more than most people realize. A story from our senior community, Mr. Ben's garage. Let me tell you about Mr. Ben, a 68-year-old widower from Texas, who reached out to our community a few years ago. Ben had a garage that most people would describe as full, but he would describe as history. It was packed, floor to ceiling, with old tools he hadn't used in years, boxes he hadn't opened since the 90s, broken appliances he always planned to fix one day, paint cans that dried out before smartphones were invented, and memories tucked into corners he didn't want to face. Ben wasn't lazy. He wasn't disorganized. He wasn't avoiding anything intentionally. He simply didn't know where to begin. And that's where most seniors get stuck, not in the work itself, but in the question of, where do I start when everything feels too big? One afternoon, his daughter came for a visit. She walked into the garage and looked around with quiet concern. Not judgment, not frustration, just gentle worry. She noticed how narrow the walking paths had become. She saw the tools rusting on shelves. She saw the broken lawnmower that had become a kind of mascot for the space. And she placed her hand on her father's shoulder and said softly, "Dad, you don't need all this anymore. You don't fix things like you used to. Let's make this space safe for you." Ben told me he felt three emotions all at once: embarrassment, defensiveness, and then a sudden wave of exhaustion. Because deep down, he knew she was right. He just hadn't been ready to say it out loud. They sat together on two old folding chairs in the middle of that crowded garage. Sunlight came in through a dusty window. The air smelled like oil and old wood. After a long pause, Ben spoke quietly, "I'm ready." They didn't clear the whole garage that day. They didn't even attempt it. They just chose one small corner, one tiny piece of a much bigger puzzle. They filled 3 trash bags. They set aside 1 bag of items to donate. And for the first time in decades, they created a single, open space on the floor, a space large enough for one step forward. When they finished, Ben stood in that little square of cleared floor and said something that stayed with me ever since. "I feel like I can breathe again." It wasn't the bags he let go of. It wasn't the items he cleared. It was the weight he released from his shoulders. This is why you never start with the hardest things. You start with what lets you breathe. And once you understand that, the next mistake becomes much easier to avoid. Task number 4, stop decluttering in marathon sessions. There's a cultural belief that if you start a big task, you should finish it the same day. Older generations, especially, were raised on the idea of powering through, working until it's done, and not stopping until you can check the box. But decluttering after 60 does not work that way. Marathon sessions are one of the easiest ways to burn out, strain your back, hurt your knees, or get overwhelmed to the point of giving up entirely. Long decluttering sessions drain the body, stress the mind, and shut down your ability to make clear decisions. That's why so many seniors end up sitting in the middle of a room surrounded by piles, feeling tired, discouraged, and upset that things aren't moving faster. The truth is simple. Your body isn't designed for 6-hour decluttering marathons, and it doesn't need to be. Short, gentle, focused sessions work far better. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 drawer, half a shelf, a small box. Decluttering is not a race, and doing less actually creates more progress over time. Because consistent, gentle effort beats intense, exhausting effort every single time. Think of it like walking instead of sprinting. You may not move as fast in the moment, but you can keep going longer and you'll feel better along the way. But physical exhaustion isn't the only thing slowing you down. Emotional guilt plays a big role too, especially when it involves your adult children. Task number 5, stop keeping things for your adult children. This is one of the most common and most heartbreaking burdens seniors carry. Keeping things for the kids. Boxes of childhood toys, old school projects, furniture they might want someday, dishes you think they'll use when they get a house, clothes stored for just in case, entire closets filled with items that don't belong to you anymore, but that you feel responsible for. Here's the truth, and I say this with love. Most adult children do not want the items being saved for them. Not because they don't care, not because they don't love you, but because their lives are different. They have different tastes, different homes, and different space limitations. They live in smaller apartments. They work longer hours. They buy what they need digitally or cheaply or secondhand. They don't collect the way past generations did. So keeping these items doesn't protect your children. It burdens you. Let me share some examples of things adult children almost never want. Large furniture sets, heavy china, figurine collections, curio cabinets, old linens, books from the attic, photo albums they never knew existed, boxes of schoolwork, knickknacks meant for a different era. If you ask them honestly, many adult children will tell you they only want a handful of deeply meaningful pieces, something small, something personal, something with a story, not a basement full of just-in-case items. Letting go of things that don't belong to you anymore is not selfish. It's healthy. It's freeing. It's a gift to your future self. And once you release what isn't yours to hold, the next habit becomes easier to break, because it's one many seniors struggle with silently. Task number 6. Stop trying to declutter perfectly. Perfection is one of the quietest forms of procrastination. Many seniors delay decluttering not because they can't do it, but because they want to do it right. They want every box labeled perfectly, every drawer sorted perfectly, every item placed perfectly, every decision made perfectly. They want to declutter the way magazines make it look, not the way real life feels. But perfection is a trap. It's the reason so many people never start. And even when they do start, it's why they become overwhelmed and stop halfway through. Decluttering after 60 doesn't need perfection, it needs progress. And progress is messy, uneven, and wonderfully human. It looks like a bag of donations that isn't sorted by color, a box of paperwork that isn't alphabetized yet, a closet that still looks lived in but feels easier to manage. The goal is not to become a minimalist. The goal is not to create a Pinterest-ready home. The goal is comfort, ease, accessibility, safety, and peace. When you let go of the pressure to do it perfectly, you free yourself from the fear of doing it wrong. Because there is no wrong. But even with emotional clarity, there's one last habit that affects decluttering more than any other, and it has nothing to do with the items themselves. Task number 7. Stop decluttering without protecting your body. At 60, 70, 80, or beyond, your body has different needs. It has different limits. It moves differently. It rests differently. It warns you differently. And ignoring those signals is one of the most hidden dangers in senior decluttering. Many seniors bend too low, reach too high, lift too much, stretch too far, or twist too sharply. They move like they did 20 years ago, forgetting their joints, balance, and muscles have changed. This leads to back strain, knee pain, shoulder aches, swelling, dizziness, or even falls. And once your body pays the price, decluttering becomes even harder the next time. Your body should not be an afterthought during decluttering. It should be the leader. Using grabbers, sitting while sorting, elevating items to table height, using carts or small bins instead of heavy bags, taking frequent breaks, and doing only what your body comfortably allows. These aren't signs of weakness. They're signs of wisdom. You've lived long enough to deserve a gentle approach. And remember this, it's perfectly okay to ask for help. A neighbor, a friend, a family member, a professional organizer. You deserve support. Protect your body first, and the rest of your home will follow. A gentle closing message. Decluttering after 60 isn't about tidying. It's not about hustling. It's not about doing more or working harder. It's about letting go of the habits that secretly drain you. It's about protecting your energy, your comfort, and your peace of mind. It's about making space for the life you want to live, not the life you lived 20 years ago. You're not behind. You're not late. You're not failing. You're simply entering a new chapter where your home should support you, not weigh you down. And every step you take, even the small ones, creates more room to breathe. So tell me gently, which of these 7 tasks do you struggle with the most? Share your experience in the comments. Your story might help someone else feel less alone. If this video brought you comfort today, please like it and join our senior community. You are welcome here. You are valued here. And I am always cheering for you. May your home feel lighter. May your days feel softer. And may your heart feel free again.